เดิมเลยครับแชมป์3 ยกโอ้โห
Riding a near 40 fight win streak, Nadaka Yoshinari may just be the best Muay Thai fighter in the world right now. Nadaka is so fast that to uncover the skills of this flyweight phenom, we must watch his fights in slow motion. He's like a blend between Yuki Yoza and Saenchai. Let's dive into the breakdown. In Muay Thai, there are multiple styles which abide by the ranges and temperament of the fighter. We have Muay Thai stylists, fighters who favour forward pressure and knees. They are essentially the in-fighter in Muay Thai, but are usually tall fighters with a long leg and arm reach, so they can be effective with knees and elbows in the clinch, where they can use their height advantage by towering over the opponent. Then we have the Muay Mat stylists who favour boxing, low kicks and forward pressure. It's a power-based approach with the low kicks slowing down the opponent's movement and ring cutting to trap the opponent where they can land their combinations of punches. Think Raymond Deckers or Rodtang, who Pro Striking has a breakdown for each on the channel. Then we have the Phenom stylists that are known for being tricky and evasive. They are the outboxers of Muay Thai. Ring craft and ring generalship, good awareness of position. The Phenom fighter has to know when to tie up and when to neutralise in a clinch, and have a good exit after scoring a shot, such as a lean back to evade a counter. This style relies on fast reflexes. I would put Nadaka in the Phenom box as his base style due to him being very evasive and elusive, but he can do it all. And that's what makes him such a difficult problem to solve. He can adjust his tactics to match any style. Now let's take a look at how he controls the ring. Ring craft and ring generalship. Ring craft refers to a fighter's ability to strategically use the ring, cutting off the opponent, managing distance and positioning themselves advantageously. Ring generalship is the broader ability to control the pace, rhythm and the flow of a fight, often dictating where and how the action unfolds. Nadaka Yoshinari excels in both, and there are simply hundreds of examples of him controlling the pace of the bout with positioning and awareness. When we look at Nadaka, he knows exactly where he is in the ring at all times, and he will change his foot position, taking a wider or narrower stance when required. The simple understanding of positioning goes a long way. Nadaka knows how to circle away from the power side and keep himself on a favourable angle that gives him an advantage in being able to see and defend against his opponent's attacks. Here we see Nadaka circle to avoid being trapped in the corner. He then resets the outside foot position before leading with an inside low kick to the backhand. This is a great combination as the inside low kick disrupts the balance of the opponent, and the striker can then fall into a heavy power punch with their body weight behind the shot. The combo is disrupted slightly by a jab, so Nadaka resets back to the outside lead foot before throwing a stab kick to the body. He then steps off again, resetting the position by the ropes. The opponent then throws a lead roundhouse kick which Nadaka checks. This position had given Nadaka the advantage as it turned the opponent's rear side offline. He wanted to kick to the closest side, which was his lead leg. Nadaka could predict this shot selection due to his position, which made it easier to defend. Nadaka then gets his returning kick caught. He uses his shin of the caught leg to help him turn away from the potential counter punch whilst hopping and circling. This requires excellent balance and awareness. He ends up circling around, breaking free and then getting himself back to centre ring. Excellent work, and this is keeping him ahead in the fight on points. Here we see Nadaka back towards the ropes, and at first he goes to a narrow stance and uses a high knee on the lead leg. This position keeps him ready to teep if the opponent steps in, and it can also serve as a pause to cause the opponent to hesitate as Nadaka thinks of an attacking option. He attempts to attack with a backhand to the body, but the opponent stifles it with his own quick tee. As the opponent closes in, he pivots off with a lead hook to the outside of his orthodox opponent. Now this isn't a big play, he doesn't hurt his opponent or do anything significant, but these small strategic plays keep him safe and get him to a better position where he can be more offensive. Nadaka is fast and precise, and watching his fights he can be a bit of a blur. He can do so much so quickly, it's hard to digest and appreciate what he's doing as he's already on to the next thing. When watching Nadaka, it's easy to be drawn into the big explosive moments, his high kicks, jumping knees and sharp boxing combinations, but what really sets him apart is the subtle technical work that happens between those highlight reel plays. It's the control, the manipulation of tempo and the strategic pauses that allow him to create and capitalise on big opportunities. Clinch control and elbow precision. Nadaka can be dominant in close range. Whilst he's highly skilled at controlling space and range, he's just as dangerous when the fight closes in. In the clinch, which can be called the heart of Muay Thai, Nadaka transforms from a patient technician into a relentless grinder, using elbows, knees and positional dominance to break down his opponent. Many fighters avoid the clinch or use it just to stall. Nadaka weaponises it. What makes his clinch work so effectively is his positional awareness and composure. He's not just grabbing a knee, he's actively fighting for inside control, constantly adjusting his posture to break balance and expose targets. His elbows are a key weapon, sharp, fast, and he often throws from angles that the opponents don't see coming. Unlike many fighters who rely on big, looping elbows, Nadaka throws short, surgical strikes in tight spaces. He blends horizontal elbows across the brow with the upward elbows from the clinch break, often chaining them off of a knee or stepping to catch the opponents during transitions. It's not just the power, it's the timing. What's especially impressive is that Nadaka doesn't overcommit. He doesn't chase damage recklessly in the clinch. He wears opponents down, slowly breaking them physically and mentally. This approach allows him to drain energy, open cuts, and maintain psychological control. If his opponent tries to fire back in the clinch aggressively, he meets that pressure with posture and balance. Rarely does he get thrown off or out-muscled. Not only can he weaponise the clinch offensively, but he knows how to use it in defence and stifle his opponent's work.
Big right kicks up onto the arms, and I think this is the strategy.
Friends, and Nadaka with the fast.
On an absolute clinic here.
Phenom can only win by a knockout. That's all he can do, and Nadaka is still engaging with him.
In this example, we see Nadaka exchanging with his opponent whilst being back toward the ropes. The opponent is showing intent and throws a hook which Nadaka evades, but it positions him closer to the ropes. He kicks and then fires some punches to follow, but the opponent holds his ground. He attempts to angle off to his left, but the opponent reaches out for a clinch and grabs his neck. He marches in, but Nadaka nullifies the clinch by controlling the arms of the opponent whilst turning him toward the ropes, bringing Nadaka into a dominant position. He blocks the opponent from progressing position in the clinch whilst jamming up his arms, pressing a hand onto the opponent's far bicep, which stops him being able to elbow. He then uses a strong head position, bringing his hips in, whilst again jamming up the opponent's arms, which brings the clinch to a stalemate, forcing the referee to intervene. In short, Nadaka's clinch isn't just a moment of pause in the action, it's an engine for offence and a way to shut opponents' momentum down and grind them into vulnerability. His combination of technique, timing and toughness in close quarters makes him one of the most complete Muay Thai stylists in the game today. Breaking rhythm. In this stretch of the fight, Nadaka showcases his ability to control the rhythm by deliberately slowing the pace down. He backs off, draws his opponent forward, and uses clinch to stifle momentum. This forces his opponents to overcommit, reaching with their strikes and beginning to miss. You can see the frustration setting in as his opponent tries to force the action, throwing without precision, desperate to connect. But the more he misses, the more the fatigue starts to build. Missing strikes is far more exhausting than it looks. Each overextension requires your core to brace for balance, your muscles to reactively contract and reset, and there's a small adrenaline dump every time you realise just for a split second that you're exposed and vulnerable to a counter. Nadaka senses this shift. When the opponent's energy begins to dip, he flips the switch. He shifts gears and rapidly escalates his offense, transitioning from punch to marching knees, stepping in with elbows, landing high kicks from range, and finishing with rapid-fire boxing combinations. His ability to change tempo and cycle through different styles of attack keep his opponent guessing and unable to recover. This is where we see him transition through the styles of Muay Thai we talked about earlier. It's this mastery of the in-between moments, how he controls the pace, manipulates distance and reads energy levels, that allows Nadaka to dominate and deliver those explosive fight-defining sequences. Defensive layering. Nadaka doesn't rely on a single layer of defence, he stacks them. This is the trademark of all high-level fighters. He uses a long guard to post and frame, he redirects kicks with subtle checks, and he'll lean back just out of range before returning fire. This multi-tiered approach means he rarely absorbs clean shots even under a lot of pressure. This is an area you have to see in slow motion to realise to take in the genius of his approach. Here we see Nadaka's attack have a built-in defence. He adapts his kicking technique to suit the plans of the opponent. In this example, the opponent likes to catch kicks, so Nadaka adapts his kicking technique by retracting the kick immediately after impact to pull his foot out and prevent the leg from being caught. This is a premeditated defence. The defence requires great dexterity at the leg and hip, and to perform the technique you need to turn the knee outwards and then retract the lower leg back with the toes facing out. It's a quick turn of the leg at the last second, and the position the leg is in, with the knee facing outwards, pulling the heel towards the bum, is a very strong position. Had the kick been caught, Nadaka would be able to leg press the opponent away by pushing the sole of his foot into the ribs. Exiting refers to deliberate acts of disengaging or repositioning immediately after initiating or participating in an offensive sequence in combat sports. The primary goal is to avoid counters, reset positioning, or transition into a more favourable range or tactic. There are footwork-based exits, pivoting, angling out, or stepping back. There are clinch entries to smother or counter to reset control. There are frame and post disengagements to create space and break contact, and then there are defensive movements such as a lean back or duck followed by a reposition. Exiting is a critical skill that minimises risk after attacking and maintains rhythm control, allowing a fighter to remain defensively responsible while staying offensive minded. While Nadaka is known for his sharp offense, his defense is built around the principle of not being there for the counter. This makes exiting the act of disengaging after leading an attack or exchange, and it's a critical layer of his defensive system. After leading an attack or engaging in an exchange, Nadaka often angles out or steps back quickly to reset the range. This forces his opponent to chase him and he can re-engage on his turn. A clinch is also an excellent exit. Rather than always escaping with footwork, Nadaka will initiate a clinch after leading an attack, especially when he senses danger of the opponent trying to trade back. In the clinch, he controls the opponent's posture, shuts down their offense and buys time to reset or work his elbows and knees whilst there. After exiting, Nadaka doesn't always reset passively. He often switches styles or tempo. He might exit with a pivot, then re-engage instantly with a marching knee or elbow. This unpredictability makes it hard for opponents to anticipate whether he's exiting to disengage or exiting to re-attack from a better angle. This is a key feature in Nadaka being able to control the pace of a bout. Nadaka Yoshinari isn't just fast, he's intelligent, calculated and complete. His mastery of every range, his ability to switch styles on the fly, and how he commands the tempo and rhythm make him one of the most dynamic fighters in modern Muay Thai. Whether he's evading a strike by millimetres, exiting a dangerous exchange with perfect timing, or breaking down an opponent in the clinch with surgical precision, Nadaka is always in control. What separates him from other elite fighters is not just what he does, but when and why he does it. His exits aren't escapes, they're resets. His pauses aren't hesitations, they're traps. Every moment serves a purpose, and every beat of the fight is played to his rhythm. To watch Nadaka is to study the art of striking at its highest level, where offense and defense blend seamlessly. Every detail, no matter how small, is intentional. He is a fighter who forces opponents to play his game and punishes them the moment they try to change the rules. In a sport defined by timing, balance and precision, Nadaka Yoshinari stands at the pinnacle, not just as a technician or a showman, but as a master of the complete fight. As always, thank you for watching the video. If you've made it this far, I definitely recommend heading over to the Pro Striking Patreon, where you can check out more exclusive in-depth tutorials and breakdowns on the channel. Pro Striking appreciates you more than watching Nadaka Yoshinari school on fighters to a 40-fight win streak.